guys, welcome. This video is going to be short and sweet. I want to talk about birch bark. I want to get this video out of the way. The birch bark is one of the most important items out here in the woods. It's used for many different things, and to a survivalist, it is the number one tree that any survivalist will be looking for out in the woods. Why? You can make basket, writing paper. You can use it as an antiseptic. There are so many different uses for birch bark. The Native Americans made their canoes from birch bark. And most of these canoes were handed down generation after generation throughout the family. Why? Because they held up so well. Birch bark canoes are known to last well over 100 years. Not just because of the bark itself, but because of the pitch that you can get from the birch bark. It is water resistant, and these canoes that the Native Americans built are worth their weight in gold. Scandinavian, they used to use birch bark to pay for their taxes all the way up until like the 17th century. Scandinavia, their major export was birch bark and pine pitch. So there are many different uses for birch bark other than a campfire. The thing that I want to caution everybody about is every time I go out to a campground or where people do congregate out in the woods, I find these birch trees just totally stripped of almost of bark because people are abusing these trees. You don't need much birch bark at all to start a fire, and that's what I'm going to show you today. I've got this birch bark right here that I'm going to use today. But that much birch bark right there, you can start 20 different fires with. Don't peel a birch tree down to bare nothing. It's not necessary. And it's wasteful, and it harms the tree as well. So we have to take that in mind when we're using it to have a fire. Now, birch bark is, like I said, it's almost called a miracle tree as far as I'm concerned, because you can use it to make a mosquito repellent. I'm not going to get into all these different things of how you use birch bark. Do your own research. Self-knowledge is better than knowledge I can ever give anybody. So do your own research, but I will tell you that you pretty much release the resin from the birch bark the same way that you might make a char cloth. People in Russia, up in Siberia, they make their mosquito repellent from birch bark. They take a bowl, put it into the ground so that the lid of the bowl is even with the ground. Then they take a larger bowl, it needs to have a round bottom, poke holes in the bottom so that the resin can drain into the first bowl that's in the ground. Then you take an even larger bowl, cover it upside down over the second bowl and the first and second bowl, and you seal it by putting dirt all around it because you don't want no air inside there. Like I said, it's almost just like making char cloth. And you build a fire all over it, all around it. These people up in Siberia that I saw that was doing this, they had these bowls this big. But you can take a smaller bowl to try it out yourself. And like I said, dig a hole, put a smaller bowl into the ground so that it's level with the ground. Then take a little bit larger bowl, poke some holes in the bottom, set it on top of the first bowl. Then load up that second bowl with birch bark. There's a bunch of different trees out there. Silver birch, yellow birch, white birch. I think you can do this with all three of them, but I think you get the better liquid tar. It's like a black tar from the birch bark by using the white pine. Excuse me, the white birch. But you can use silver birch, and use yellow birch, and put that in your bowl, and then cover it with a larger bowl, and then make sure it's sealed all the way around so no air gets into it. Then build a fire around it and set it off, and let it cook for about an hour or two. And all the resin will be released from the birch bark and will drain down into your first bowl that's sitting into the ground. But the birch tree is, without a doubt, as far as I'm concerned, the most important tree one of the most important trees out here. And right now we're going to start a simple little fire, showing how I use my birch bark to start a fire. And I'm not going to light it with a lighter or anything like that. I'll use my ferro rod. And let's get right into that, and I'll show you that. Hey, by the way, I haven't been doing a lot of videos. This left foot, I don't know. I did something to it. I've been held up at home for the last month, and I haven't been able to get out here. Matter of fact, the place where I want to build a campsite's right up here, but I haven't been able to get out to the woods because I'm not walking very well. And let's get into this video and let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, all I'm going to do, make a simple little fire with this stuff here. I'll put the smaller stuff down on the bottom. Okay. Now I didn't shave this. As you can see, I just tore little tiny pieces off the birch. You don't need to shave it down. You can, and it will work. And one thing I forgot to tell you about the sap from birch bark, if you remove it like you're going to make some mosquito repellent, you can use that on leather to tan your leather, and your leather will never rot on you at all. That's how good the birch bark tar is. If I can get this thing to work. There we go. Ain't it wonderful when it's dry? You can start a fire no problem. Now you've seen how much birch bark I used. You don't need a lot of birch bark, so stop ripping the damn trees down, for crying out loud. You don't need that much birch bark at all. And that is it. Well, that's it for this video. Like I said, birch bark has many different uses other than just starting fire. As an antiseptic, you take the sap after you cook it out of the bark, and you can place it on your wound, directly, right on the wounds. It is an antiseptic, and it'll cover it like a liquid Band-Aid, really. You can use it as a mosquito repellent to make canoes with that will last 100 years. And you remove the sap from the birch bark by the way I described. It's like making char cloth. So there are many different uses, and just please do me a favor. Stop tearing the hell out of birch trees. When you're making a fire, you don't need much at all. And matter of fact, the birch bark is so resistant to rot that half the time the down birch trees you find out here, the inner wood will be all rotted out, but the birch bark is still fine. And the birch bark will last longer than the inside of the tree, and the wood on the inside of the tree. So look for down birch trees when you want to make a fire. Silver birch isn't that great to make fires with. Silver and yellow birch, why? Because of the way they peel. A birch bark grows on a tree in a horizontal fashion around the tree. Most trees, the bark on trees grow vertically. Well, on birch trees, they grow horizontally. It grows horizontally. But that's enough for now. I will be doing some more videos. I've been laid up all this month with this foot. I haven't been able to go outside because every time I stood on my foot, got on my feet, all the blood goes right to my foot and makes it swell right up again. So it is healing up, and I am going to be putting my campsite up here real soon, and I'll be able to start doing some more videos because I plan on staying out there for a few days at a time as I Anyway, come here, Alder. Come over here. Let's say goodbye. This is Alder and North. We are out of here, guys. Have a good day.